So, my thoughts this morning are about the battles that we fight. And it's something, and I'm talking here about emotional battles. And it's like within ourselves. So it's like there's this invisible battlefield inside of us where our thoughts and feelings are constantly in conflict or duking it out. And we wake up. Sometimes it feels like there's all this weight on our shoulders, whether it's stress from work or worries about our kids, worries about our future, self-doubt, whatever. It just this stuff kind of just comes up periodically or often during the day. And some days we just feel overwhelmed by it, doesn't make sense. Um, and it's as though our emotional system or our feelings have a mind of their own, and they're and we just get we suffer from it, and it's inevitable, but um, it's something we often overlook. We just tolerate, or we just sort of try to push into the background. We keep going despite whatever internal conflicts we may be dealing with. And it really takes fortitude to push forward some days, to reach out for support when we need it, to give ourselves a break when we're struggling. And it comes down often to being our own worst critics. Are we good enough, smart enough, rich enough, whatever, just enough? And all of this is a source of suffering, just another source of suffering. So I want to do today is dig a little bit into how practical Dharma, excuse me, practical Dharma offers us a way to manage these inner struggles. Um, Now, let me just begin by saying that not every challenge or frustration results in a full-blown internal battle. We use discernment to decide which issues truly matter and which issues are worth expending energy on. And we try to just let go of the rest, or just, move on. And and one way to approach these issues with discernment is to always begin with a question: will this matter to me a year from now? Is it that important? Is it worth sacrificing my peace of mind to really dig into and indulge into? We prioritize our struggles, and we try to conserve our energy for the important. Because the bottom line is we're never going to be free of these internal conflicts or worry and the like. We're never going to be free of anxiety, that little voice that tells us that things might go wrong, even when things are perfectly fine. And we're going to talk about that next time, when we're going to talk about the waves of change. But for today, we're going to talk about the internal battles. And it's like our minds are playing this never-ending game of what if this, what if that, what if this. So I want to share some insights from the Buddha's teachings on these emotional battles that we all face in our lives. And from the Buddhist perspective, it's understood that the root cause of much of our suffering is, and this emotional turmoil is, of course, within our own minds. It's of our own making. The Buddha taught that our minds are constantly bombarded by thoughts, emotions, desires, aversions, all the things that get stirred up, and that often grab our attention, lead us astray, and cause us to experience great pain and dissatisfaction. And one of the most significant battles that we fight in this regard is the battle against our own cravings and our own aversions. So the battles for things we crave and the battles for things we try to pull away from. We crave for things that we think will bring us happiness, such as wealth, fame, sensual pleasures, new toys, and the like. And at the same time, we harbor aversions toward things that we see as unpleasant: criticism, physical discomfort, deprivation, not getting what we want, and the like. And the Buddha taught that both these cravings on the one hand and aversions on the other are futile and ultimately lead to suffering. We talk about that not infrequently here. So no matter how much we acquire in terms of our cravings, or how much we avoid in terms of our aversion, we never find lasting happiness or peace of mind through either path. Getting more stuff doesn't bring lasting happiness, and trying to constantly avoid discomfort doesn't bring lasting happiness. So we get caught in the cycle of craving and striving on one hand, and dissatisfaction and unhappiness on the other. So that's one source of internal battles. Another one is facing our own delusions and misperceptions. Clinging to false beliefs, distorted views about ourselves, others, and the world around us. In other words, seeing things as we want them to be, not as they are, not seeing with clarity. And these delusional beliefs, which can be largely unconscious or often conscious, can lead us to act in harmful ways. We hurt ourselves emotionally, we hurt others, we perpetuate our own suffering. And part of the brilliance of the Buddha's teaching was that he offered us a path, a means out of these battles. We do this by cultivating wisdom, we do it by cultivating compassion, and we do it with our mindfulness practice. Through the practice of meditation, through the practice of ethical conduct, we learn to observe our thoughts and emotions with a clear and non-judgmental mind. We learn to observe our cravings in a non-judgmental mind without necessarily reacting to them. We learn to perceive clearly our aversions, the dislikes, without constantly trying to push them away. We accept life as it is handed to us. Doesn't mean we have to like it, but it means that running away from it or craving more of something is not the way out of our suffering. So we cultivate this ability to let go of our cravings and aversions, to see things as they truly are, free from distortions and the delusions that we're all prone to. And in the process, the Buddha asks us to cultivate compassion and cultivate loving kindness toward ourselves and toward others. Self-compassion is huge in terms of dealing with these internal emotional battles. If we recognize the interconnectedness of everything, the universality of suffering, we develop a sense of empathy and understanding that helps us manage our emotional battles internally and find more true peace and happiness. Because these battles that we fight are a natural part of the human experience. None of us are spared them. And we are often our own harshest critics. We recognize that perfection, which many of us, consciously or unconsciously aspire to, is an unrealistic standard. We make room for our humanity, for our imperfection. We talked recently about being perfectly imperfect. We forgive ourselves when we fall short. These battles we fight stem from deeply ingrained beliefs about ourselves and the world. And these beliefs are distorted. They're not seeing things clearly. So when we adopt a mindset with the belief that our qualities and abilities can, in a positive direction in terms of the Buddhist teaching, can be developed through our practice, through dedication, and through concerted effort. And we get empowered by this view because we see opportunities for growth in all of these challenges rather than indictments of our self-worth. So again, the battles we wage themselves are inevitable. How we approach them is where we have some agency, where we can make a profound difference in our well-being. So we cultivate self-awareness. We strive for that. We cultivate self-compassion. We develop wisdom, which better equips us to navigate life's struggle with grace, with equanimity. I often say if we get in a battle with our own thoughts and emotions rather than accepting them, we're going to lose and we're going to suffer in the result. So here again, it's about acceptance. It's about non-judgment. It's about realizing that these inevitable battles are not a failing, a weakness. They are a part of the human experience. But we have choices and agency in terms of how we respond to them, how we manage them, how we deal with them. So let me stop there.